5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. I realized I really don't look at that camera very much. I look around, I look all over the place. I'm thinking, things are going slow in there. Hey, Keith. And I watched a video yesterday about how your crystallized knowledge carries you along as your speedy knowledge starts to slow down or something like that. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's see which button I'm supposed to hit. That's not the one. Okay, so that's not the one either. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, first off, I thought this was kind of good news, and I keep hearing good news. Lots of jobs available. This was from the Labor Department in June. Carhart did a Labor Day campaign where they took hard hats and laid them out on the grass in Nashville, I believe. And they took 1,600 hard hats, 1,670, representing the 1.67 million job openings across construction, manufacturing, mining. Oh, this thing, I keep mixing up the perimeter tool with every time I bring it up, it changes my settings. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the bright yellow hats were displayed, and they did a 30-second spot, which I have somewhere. They were gonna yesterday donate all their sales, 100% of their sales, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Labor Day to the Skills USA to help train the workforce of the future, 200,000 to 250,000. And I think we have that queued up over here someplace. Yeah, there it is. Let's try over to YouTube. Got to turn these off. And it got a little distorted. I don't know why. But there it goes, and there's the 1,600. So they're going to donate it to job training, $200,000 to job training. And I have to say, my son got his welding certification. Took him about 2 years, and he really loves welding. And he worked all through the coronavirus shutdown, and he's worked continuously. And the great part is he really likes it. So think about trades if you don't know what else to do with yourself, which maybe you should. Okay, there's a new startup which is called DiffBots, and I'm guessing it's because it's a different kind of bot. It actually supposedly reads the internet differently. Now, I think what it basically does is take context into account. GPT-3 can generate poems and short stories and songs and technical specs that can pass off as human creations. I didn't look that up because I'm a writer. So I don't like that too much. But anyway, DiffBot is the only web crawler in the United States crawling the entire web, and it's turning it into a series of 3-part factoids that relates one thing to another: subject, verb, and object. So it's just taken the key information and indexing it, which means that you can go find it in its context. But the robot is giving it weighting based on its trustworthiness. Okay. Good morning, Keith. And did this come from an official source or a social media? Is it up to date? Oh, I wish Google would do that. Every time I do a tech query, I get stuff from 2012 that, guess what, is not up to date. Google is a big trash pile these days, if you ask me. So DiffBot is taking this stuff and selling it. It has 400 customers so far. DuckDuckGo uses it to create Google-like answer boxes. So sometimes, Google, if you just say, what's today's weather, it'll just put up a little box. It won't take you to AccuWeather or Weather Underground or something like that. And that's one of the problems for publishers, is that Google's able to do that. And so it keeps you in Google's ecospace, if you will. But DuckDuckGo is using it to create those kinds of things. I use DuckDuckGo almost exclusively. If I really need to look through garbage, look through everything there is, I'll go to Google. But they don't understand what I'm doing anyway, so I don't care that they keep track of it all. DuckDuckGo does sell advertising, but it doesn't sell it based on your lifetime viewing history. It bases it on what you're searching on right at the moment, which I think makes a lot more sense. Okay, and but this was an interesting little factoid. Adidas and Nike are using it to find counterfeits. Not sure how they do that. I really don't know. It's interesting. Okay, now we're going to go into something really odd. This was from The Hustle by Michael Waters. The best productivity software is a keyboard from 1993. And companies have done everything imaginable to make you more productive. They're down to teaching you how to cut down on your tabs, which is something I should do. I'm always closing them, but I'm always seem to have more. I talked on productivity yesterday. So using AI to fix your digital calendars, and some of their trusty partners like Asana are filing to go public. But the real key is using the Neo, the AlphaSmart Neo from 1993. It's a discontinued word processor called AlphaSmart. Some claim the device has revolutionized their writing process. No email, no Slack, no long-hour detours to search for information, and no context succession Twitter account. Just go boom, 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 boom. You can go on those forever. Right, yeah, there's a thoughtful face. Pulling out the AlphaSmart forces you to focus, except for all the people that come walking up to you in Starbucks and say, hey, what is that thing? Next time we draft a presentation, we want to do it in the Yankee word processor. Yeah, okay. So before you panic and say, well, where can I get one of those? I did do some research for you. And the truth is that eBay has it. eBay has it. Yes, eBay has it. Oops, eBay has it. Where is it? It's hiding somewhere. eBay has it, and I was curious, how do you get the stuff out of there? Because it doesn't look like it has anything. This one's actually working. This one is like $50. Okay, but there it is. Copyright 2004, Neo AlphaSmart. And I did find the back panel. And on there is looks like a USB port. Not clear. This could be a printer port, but it looks like it's a monitor. It's like the old USB out. Don't know. This thing actually looks like a Wi-Fi interface, which means you could surf the net. Well, not really. Did you see the screen on this thing? Although I used to surf on my I don't remember my smartphone that had a screen similar to that. Okay, now I have some suggestions. First of all, you can use your airplane mode button on your laptop. If you have a laptop, that's much easier than going out and getting one of these things. Some laptops, I have two behind me, one has a switch that switches off your Wi-Fi. Those were the days. And one of them doesn't, but it has an airplane mode button. That can get you the essentially same context as this, okay? Also, you can use paper. Now I know this is a productivity tip you're not going to want to hear, but I outline stuff. I have pages of paper. I don't always go back to it, but you know what it does? It helps me remember. It helps me remember stuff. And I have wonderful notebooks, and I have those little notepad thing that look like little books. I love those. And they keep track of where you left off. So there's a lot of productivity tips that you're not going to hear every day. But I wanted to show you my productivity tip. And this is, I know I shouldn't, but I have to. I just have to. Okay, so let's get over to, where did I hide that? Oh, it's on a PDF, but it's a different one. Okay, this is what I did my master's degree on. It's a TRS-80. This is before the IBM PC, just so you know. And the TRS-80 had no hard drive. It had a keyboard, and it had a TV set, and it had these floppy drives, which were literally, they were like this big. It would take them, and you have no idea how big this thing is, and ribbon cables that went into the back of this. And I did my graduate work. By the time I got done, I had kind of PTSD, so I threw some papers at my advisors and said, "Here, do I pass?" Which I didn't. And then I decided after about 2 or 3 years in with some counseling that I should try to finish. And so I met with my advisor, and he said, "Okay, you send me stuff and I'll send it back." And we did that for about 5 years, and it wasn't really getting anywhere. So he decided, partly because he would take a year to get back to me. He was busy. Anyway, so then finally he decided that I should meet with one of his grad students, who happened to be a friend of mine who was like just starting philosophy when I was finishing. And so we worked together on it, and I submitted it again finally, doing it on the TRS-80, which was a godsend. And the committee read it and flunked me unanimously. And part of the reason, I think, was that my advisor always wrote in the style of Aquinas, which would like say, okay, here's point 1 of the argument, here's point 2 of the argument, here's point 3. No, he didn't do it that way. He said, here's point 1, then here's my issues with point 1, then here's point 2, and here's my issues. I don't know, it was either one way or the other. And it's very difficult to read that way. Most people lay the whole thing out and then lay the argument against it. And so they didn't like the format, even though I had emulated my advisor. But because I had a word processor, I could rearrange it in paragraphs. They gave me a week to fix it up and send it back. My wife said, "I can't believe you, after all these years, you want to keep, give it another go." I said, well, if they told me I was done, I would be done, but they didn't. They told me I had one more chance, which is kind of the theme of the Carhart show. We have another chance now. We're adding jobs. Things are coming back. Dig in, go for it. And so I took a week with the TRS-80 locked myself in a room, and didn't go to work, or did it, I think, at work, but not doing any work. I took a week off of work and rearranged it, rewrote it, and sent it back in. And I got a call from my advisor. Well, I got good news and bad news. The good news is that you passed unanimously. The bad news is you'd already had 2 tries, and no one realized that that was all you get. So technically, this shouldn't even count. Also, you're only allowed 5 years, and you got 8. So now I just have to fight with the grad school. He said, he said, and this is the point, no one's ever done a master's degree in this department by direct mail, which is sadly ironic. And so we're going to give you a break, and we're going to talk the graduate school into granting you the degree. And so now, this is personal confession time. Without you knowing that, you wouldn't have known that I got mercy, not justice. Although I did legit pass. But here's another funny coincidence, and that is that on Friday I stopped to see a friend who has an office nearby, and I stop in every now and then. And I've known him for a long time. And I looked across his office, and there on the shelf was a TRS-80. Not just a TRS-80. It was the actual TRS-80 that I had done my master's degree on. It may still be there, for all I know. I do have a text copy. We should load it up and see. But I told him the story. He didn't remember it. I said, that little TRS-80 saved my life. No Wi-Fi, no hard drive. But the thought process that goes into writing spans time and can be done even on little teeny, almost nothing pieces of paper. Imagine that, right? So I'm John Miglash. Like and share. I hope you like that True Confessions. Stop by our office this winter. Yeah, I'm planning on that, and we should talk later, right? As soon as you want, anytime today. Mark me out some time because I have two or three things that we should talk about. I'm modeling today. Got to get going, dig in. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye bye.